That's it.
Gotta do all the tech stuff, get the recording ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're live.
Okay, great.
Great.
So, give it the extra 30 seconds.
Frank's not here, so.
Charles.
Okay. The other person.
This is on. Yes.
Okay, I would like to call to order the Planning and Zoning and Historic Commission of Thursday, October 6th, 2022. Chris, could we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Reyes Brahar,
Here.
Commissioner Meyer,
Absent.
absent. Commissioner Feck,
Here.
Commissioner Kruger,
Here.
Commissioner Stenick,
Here.
Commissioner Scarpelli,
Here.
Chairman Bruner.
Here. So with quorum met, we can move on with the rest of our meeting. So the first order of business is going to be the approval of minutes from the August meeting dated August 4th, 2022. Has everyone had a chance to review these minutes?
Yes.
Are there any changes that we need to make to these minutes?
Yeah, I would, I was not present, however, in reading through the minutes and reading, I believe there is a correction that needs to be made to the roll call. The roll call currently shows Kruger, Myers, and Stenick were present. That would only be 3 and would not consist of a quorum. I believe that the commissioners present needs to read Kruger, Myers, Stenick, and Bruner. And then it shows commissioners absent were Reyes, Barhar, Scarpelli, and Myers. That needs to be changed to Reyes, Barhar, Scarpelli, and Feck.
It's Feck.
And
Yeah.
Feck.
Okay.
So with those changes, I would then make a motion, or I'll make a motion to approve subject to those changes.
Any other
Second the motion.
any other discussion on this topic or other changes that may need to be added to or amended to this motion?
No.
Okay, with no further comment, could we have a roll call on this?
Reyes Brahar,
Yes.
can it,
Brahard.
Brahar, okay. Commissioner Myers? Absent, okay, I gotta strike him out there. Commissioner Feck,
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick,
Yes.
Commissioner Scarpelli,
Yes.
Chairman Bruner.
Yes. Okay, motion passes. We will move on now to public comment. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to make a comment to the Planning and Zoning Commission that is on business not currently covered in today's meeting? Appears to be none. So then we will move on to our new business of the day, which is a public hearing regarding the petition from KAL Land LLC for four requests. First, a variance request from section 157127 requiring loading berths, requiring 2 loading berths. Secondly, a variance request from section 15804D2D2B, landscape requirements requiring landscape islands for every 10 parking spaces. Thirdly, a variance request from section 15804D2C, landscape requirements requiring a 5-foot landscaping area along the foundation. And finally, a minor amendment to section 4.7 of the planned unit development granted by the village board in ordinance number 08-74 regarding the requirements of interior landscape parking lots, which currently requires 400 square foot islands. I would now entertain a motion to open the public hearing regarding the petition from KAL Land LLC.
I'll make a motion that we open the public hearing regarding petition from PAL Land LLC for items 1, 2, 3, and 4, previously read by Chairman Bruner and listed on our tonight's agenda.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Chris, could you call the roll?
Braher,
Yes.
Feck,
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick,
Yes.
Commissioner Scarpelli,
Yes.
Chairman Bruner.
Yes. So, Chris, first I'd like to ask, did we receive any comments from the village in regards to this? From
No.
village residents or businesses? Okay.
No.
Great. Secondly, is there anyone in the audience who plans on speaking? Okay. So, could we? Yes, please. And- Yes, and then Chris will swear you in as well.
Okay, that I don't have in front of me.
What do you say? What do you
The
say?
language. Huh?
Anyway,
The testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
well, you only lie once in a while, Chris.
Okay,
I swear.
okay.
Great. Thank you.
I know Frank from years ago, and Joe's been great for years. I know his father. Chris, I'm not sure about. But to introduce myself, my name is Joe Palmer. I've got 400 acres in East Dundee. Years ago, I mean, things weren't moving, and I went to the former mayor, and we made a deal that I would put up a $10 million building and have it zoomed in for trucking maintenance. And that he would give me zoning to park trucks. Because basically where I'm at, which is perfect for the village, I'm the far end of the village. All the streets they take basically are state routes. They go 72, 25, Beverly, 59. So we're not tearing up the streets downtown. Although I'm trying to help the current administration get that trucker out of downtown, I just donated 3 acres to try to help them. Anyway, we put up so far 4 buildings. The first one was 85,000 square feet. Thank God for Pace Bus. Pace Bus came in, they've been there for 7 years. They took half of that building. And you can't have a better client than that. And anyway, so we cater towards trucks. And truck drivers have no consideration about anything. And we've been watching and tweaking. I want to do 5 more buildings. I want to do variances here is for a retail building of 12,000 square feet, and the 2 ends have drive-throughs. It's a very unique design that I did myself. So we're going to have 2 drive-throughs on each end. Okay, and I designed a traffic pattern. It's got a little 4 Seasons room up front on the 2 ends. Canopy all the way along, some tables out in front, with some landscaping that Erica wanted in front of the, you know, but that's fine. Really, she had a good idea. So we got the retail building, which is just to the west on 72 of Speedway. The only reason the Speedway is there is because all the trucks are there. So they generate a lot of retail sales tax for you guys. The other company that's there, I got my one building, is Cassidy Tire, which is a family owned. I've known them for 40 years, bought a lot of tires from them, and I wanted a tire company because I'm trying to give amenities to the 3,000 trucks I have parking there. Okay? Acme Truck Parts, I was lucky enough to get, that I tried to get for 3 years. They finally came to me and said, okay, we're ready. So we got them in my building. My office is 201 out there. So you get retail sales tax from them. So anyway, we've got 12 mechanics out there, Pace Bus, over 12. And I want to build in the next year the retail center. And then in between the retail center and Speedway, I want to put a car wash, okay? Because on 72, and it's a little dusty on my property. I have a water truck that I use when Chris calls, and one day he called, the water truck just parked. I said, Chris, you're slow. So anyway, so I've got the retail car wash along Penny Road. What we're trying to do is connect Penny Road. We want to stop it because it's a really shitty intersection. So what we want to do, which we're going to see IDOT, is stop Penny Road short of that silly intersection and tie stop sign on Penny and tie a road going through my 10 acres, part of which I gave 3 acres to the village to get out of this trucking guy out of there. So now we'll tie into the intersection of Prairie Lakes. So now it'll make it so much safer interchange. I don't know if you guys ever drove that. It's silly, you can't even. Anyway, we're meeting Joe, I think next month with IDOT.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So if that happens, it'll be great for everybody. So that's one of the things I'm working on. But back there, it's kind of quiet. So the 10 acres north of Penny Road, I don't want to park any trucks there at this time. We'll keep them back south of Penny Road. I want to put 2 50,000 square foot buildings in. One, we're getting close to getting approved. The one that you know for is, and then right across Rock Road, we're going to call it Rock Road because we're hoping eventually to tie into Rock Road. So we had a stop sign on there going right through my property, and then someday we'll make it a stoplight at, you know, Route 68. But anyway, it'd still make it a lot safer. So I want to put 2 of those buildings there, and then between Patricia Drive, which is one of my daughter's names, and the cemetery, we have 10 acres. And I finally got somebody, I tried to get a new truck dealership in there because I thought it would fit with all the other trucking and the amenities and all that. But I just was talking last week with a used truck sales person. But, I mean, he doesn't want to buy. I got to build a building. So we would put another truck maintenance building there. Just so you know where I'm going here. And like I said, we're a very unique use where we're at. It's trucks, it's not cars, it's not warehouse. And like I said, truckers, you have no idea how much maintenance they got. But the reason for most of these variances is, number one, we got them on our other buildings. And number two, it's because of the use that I'm doing. You know, it's not a normal use. So that's why we're here today, is to get a couple little variances. And yes, I want to keep moving. I want to build those 5 buildings next year because I ain't gonna be around that much longer. I want to get them done. Then my kids could have it.
Okay.
Any questions?
Well, thank you for the overview of the whole development. This property that we have here, so today's business is on this one specific property. Is this one of the buildings that you were discussing in the overview?
Yes, sir.
Which one is it?
Which one is it?
The retail.
The retail building. Okay.
Yes, that's the one up in front.
Yes.
It's a very unique design because I got drive-throughs on each side.
Yep.
With a 4-season room out in front, 20.
This is.
Yeah. It's landscaping in the
West.
Well, what I did, because I don't know why your zoning says anything over 45,000, you need 2. I have 1 in each of my buildings, which I not use maybe once a week. And what I made it, the one on the end, it's indoor, garage door, and it's everybody in the building could use it. There's a little hand door with a keypad. And how much do they use it a week, Jeff?
2-3 times a week.
2-3 times a week. So why do we need more than 1? And this loading berth doesn't have to be inside. And according to Mr. Hines, correct me if I'm wrong, I have like 20 overhead doors. And basically, those are, what would you say, Joe?
Right, on the trucking.
Pardon?
On the trucking buildings?
Yeah.
Yes.
That they're loading docks.
They're loading inside.
Every garage door.
That's great, yeah.
So, anyway, we're here because Erica wanted me here.
Yep.
In the past, I've never come to P&Z in the last 5 years because I'm in a redevelopment area
Yeah.
and I shouldn't be here. But, whatever.
So, Chris, he made a comment about other buildings that had these similar variances. Is there something that you'd like to say in regards to that, or the staff statement on this?
There hasn't been a retail building
Okay.
that has requested this type of variance, because we haven't had a retail building built in, I don't know how many years,
Yes.
maybe since the 90s. So yeah, I don't, specifically to this type of building, no, but all the trucking facilities, the one loading berth was allowed.
And what is the size of those, of the truck repair buildings?
The square footage?
Yeah.
47,000.
45,000 square feet.
So they're in the.
So they're 45,000 with one loading dock, and this building is slightly over 10,000?
12,000, right.
Okay.
Yeah, the range is 10 to 25, requires 2. So, and then 3 over 25. So, I mean, it's 10% towards the next level. Is there any other questions? Are there questions on these variances that anyone?
What kind of retail businesses are going into this building?
I'm open to two ends. Good question. I'm open to two ends. One will be an early morning breakfast place.
Mm-hmm.
And, nothing high-end restaurants. You guys got all those downtown. These are truckers. And then like a lunch dinner place. Fast food more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Cheap,
So
because
restaurants
truckers are
on the
cheap.
end, and then in the middle.
And then in the middle, I've got somebody talking to me about, I want to do my gaming in the middle, and I'll keep that. And then somebody came to me and wanted to do a medical IV place, and somebody else came to me about, I don't know, cycle bar shit. Cycle bars, I don't exercise. Well, I do, but I want to talk about it. But go ahead.
A variety of retail things, and as much as we can try to cater to the trucking world.
Maybe a cash, what do you call it, currency exchange. Maybe insurance company for truckers. One guy approached me, he said he might want to do blood and alcohol testing, which they have to do every once in a while.
Yeah.
So I want to try to cater more to the amenities for the my tenants.
So will the truckers be parking not in this lot, but somewhere outside? Because it doesn't seem like there's enough turning radiuses if there is a drive-through.
No, they all come with their cars. So when they go to retail,
Okay.
they'll come with their car. And they all come with their cars, and like I said, I got not a clean environment with the
Yeah.
grindings. But when they leave to go home, they'll hit the car wash on their way out. And that'll bring a little retail tax for you guys too.
So with this building, these are drive-throughs on either side going
Yeah, it's a
out?
very unique design.
Around to the back.
Dave, show them the plan. Where's the plan? Here it is.
So,
Can I show it to you?
so you expect, yeah, I've got the, is that, I want to see if
It's
that's
something
different.
yeah.
No, this is the same as our drawing, yeah.
Oh, so you guys have that in your packet?
Yeah, we have it as.
See the driving going around?
Yeah, yes.
So I want to put windows on both sides.
Yeah, right. So I mean, that is interesting. I mean, you're going to have a lot of traffic on the back of that building.
And it's pretty wide, and I got an off area for any truck deliveries. Did you see that?
So
The
then
truck
you
deliveries they
order
pull
here,
in.
And then you exit here, or do you, and then there's another one here?
Correct. So vehicles in, order here, vehicles that want to order here, go to this one, exit will be here, exit here.
Have you done a traffic stacking study of the cars?
Yes. I mean,
And what did they
the best we
did you
can. Yeah, we've got
assume
plenty of
maybe
room.
8 stacked cars?
Plenty of room. Did you see,
Right.
Julie, this over here, and all the stacking for this one? And all the stacking for this one?
And it looks really tight.
Yeah.
Like,
Lillian, he's gonna show you the stacking.
yes, I'm an architect, by the way.
Yeah, it's like.
And I do a lot of the, like Starbucks and drive-throughs, you know, just a lot of the.
No, I totally understand. We got so much stacking for the one on the west, all the way around the back of the building.
For something else to come around.
We got more than enough stacking, but that was a good question, thank you.
Yeah, and the good thing is you don't have residential next to you, so there's no big issues with flashing lights. You have all the trucks, or bright lights. Okay. You still see, and your architect looked at the.
I can't hear,
stacking,
I'm
so-
sorry.
Okay,
Dave,
it looks really tight.
I can't hear.
Even the turning radiuses.
Yeah, they're
Okay,
big.
maybe you should let him, this one seems extremely, extremely tight. Should have your architect or engineer look at
West
this.
side, northwest corner.
Extremely.
It's not.
That was adjusted.
It was?
That was feedback from Joe Hines, and there were adjustments made on the, that was the original permitted drawing that you're looking at.
Oh, it is, okay. Alright, it just looks really tight. Okay,
Can I see that?
I do plenty, that's why.
Oh, so this actually has the traffic
Mm-hmm.
direction on it?
No.
So traffic would go this way.
Dave, show them the 2 Four Seasons room on the ends.
Is this 2 lanes wide?
Jeff, the east side, is it 2 lanes or 3 lanes?
So 24 feet wide?
Two lanes wide, and that
Okay.
proceeds around the building from the east side,
Okay.
around the back.
And
to
this
the
one's
west.
like 1 lane
Mhm.
wide? Okay. So cars can stack in here for this drive-through, and then other cars can bypass to get around?
Exactly.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay.
And then can people turn into here turn into this
They
this
would
one?
The northwest corner, is it in and out or just out?
Northwest and the back is just out for exiting
Okay.
purposes, yes.
For these people, really?
Correct.
And
So
on
it'll
the
be
20
one way in the back of the building.
on the 24-foot width, is there gonna be any type of raised curb separating the drive-through from the
No,
restaurant?
no, because the cars are, I'm not gonna say it,
And then the
but
loading berth is in the back of the building there, for deliveries.
Yeah.
so they're not in the way of the cars, Frank. You know, I used to
And
be,
garbage is in the back there as well.
I was
so
just
the
going to
access
ask
for
about
loading.
the dumpster.
Thank you.
Yes.
Loading zones for
Uh,
drive-throughs?
Garbage is gonna be here. Truck can go up, take it
Well,
out.
you gotta have so many stacking
Design.
spaces
That's
and
mine
things
for
like
the,
that.
garbage trucks.
So they could pick it up back
What's
up.
that? Oh, okay.
What, did you have the fire department look at turning radiuses too for fire
They did,
trucks?
They're gonna have to be
those changes were made based on their findings and their review,
I can tell
along
you.
with Joe, but,
Oh, really?
we did receive their.
So you had feedback from the fire department?
I don't know what our codes are, but I know what carpenters
We
goes
can
on.
have
That's
that
what
on
we
my
never
computer
fought.
if you wanted me to pull it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I would be interested. I like those type of diagrams.
Yeah.
Where the window is,
Yeah,
and I haven't seen it.
yeah, okay.
And these end units, if there were 4 season rooms, would be over here for the 2
Cafes
restaurant.
or whatever.
Yeah, restaurant
So you'd
uses.
have like little tables out on
Yeah.
the sidewalk.
Are we
and
looking
stuff.
like maybe 4,000 square feet, something like that,
Um,
3,000?
About 2,500-ish
Mhm.
on each end.
Mhm.
There'll be 9 units available.
Oh, 9 units, retail
9
units.
available, but that we're anticipating already from the people we've talked to that the 2 ends would get combined.
Okay. And I do like this portion back here because you could put your grease trap or, you know, just your
Mhm.
basins back here.
Yeah.
So it doesn't disrupt any type of, you know, any of your guests driving through the
Yes.
drive-through.
Yeah, exactly.
So where on this are you planning to have your loading dock?
Right in here.
The loading berth
Yeah.
is that
It's a berth.
indented area in the back of the building
Yes,
next
this back
to
one.
the drive-through.
Yeah, it's actually not the dock. It's
Yeah.
just-
and that's for the garbage truck too,
Yeah.
so they're not in the
Just
way
this
of the
whole
traffic.
area there.
Yeah,
Okay.
she saw it.
Okay.
So
Garbage too, Frank.
Yeah.
William.
would it be accurate to say your reason that you want the variance is for the loading berth is really a second loading berth is of no use to your business?
Correct, sir.
Okay.
We've had the fortunate time here to see what our needs have been with all the trucks that we
Yeah.
have with the buildings we have now, and we determined that
Yes.
it's really necessary.
And Chris and Joe, do you know why like 10,000 is like the point where we go to 2?
Per code, ABC.
Just, no, okay.
It's just a national standard.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's up to there, so.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So your streets, like on the west end of the property and the east end of the property, it looks like the west end's a little narrower. Is that a one-way, or is that enough for, what's the width
I
on
don't know
that?
which one.
Yeah, they
On the
said the
west
west
side of-
one is 1 lane.
Yeah,
and the
it's
east
one
side's
lane.
2
Okay,
lane.
so this is what, like 15 feet, or?
I don't know the distance.
The drawing scale.
I don't have a
Joe, do you know
scale.
if this is,
So this is just one way, so this
Yeah.
goes
Yeah, I was trying to understand, yeah,
clockwise.
because this one's
So this is
2
two lane,
lanes.
so you're gonna
I
have
don't know
people
about
coming in
this
here for the
circulation,
drive-through,
yeah.
and then people that can bypass the drive-through. So you're
About
really
15
only
feet.
about 15 feet.
15.
So then your one on the west here is probably 30 feet, right?
I think it was 24.
24.
The east side,
Size.
Yeah, east side.
23, yeah, 23.25.
Okay. All right. So the traffic flow is gonna be like a clockwise, right? You can't,
Well, counterclockwise.
or yeah, counterclockwise, yeah. Gotcha. And then this is an exit. So the entrances are right here, in here? This is either entrance or exit, or?
Yes.
Triple lane is a connection to Route 72 right there for freeway traffic. You got right in, right out, left in.
Okay, so this one to the south, that one is just a entrance here? Or can you?
So those will be entrance and exits.
And
yes.
exits,
Oh,
okay,
it's
so
both.
same with these, okay.
If you read the actual.
All right. And then this one over here,
And this
This
passes
type-
over to Speedway.
Speedway,
right
okay.
here.
Is
And
there-
We have that new right in, right out.
okay, from
entrance to
Speedway here,
72.
yeah, okay. All right. So is this gonna be shared with Speedway? People can, come from Speedway and go in this way? What is?
Car wash.
Oh, okay.
That's the future site for the car wash.
Okay.
And then,
Is it gonna be like a, you enter one, like, kinda like the one up here on 25?
I can't really.
Like $3
Is
car
how wide's the
wash?
normal
or-
parking spot?
Okay. But it's gonna mainly be for trucks?
no, cars.
Oh, cars too.
Cars, satisfying their personal vehicles.
Oh, okay.
Still working on
Right.
Their car.
Still working on getting a truck wash.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
20, it has to be
Yeah,
20.
a lot of interest there, but
20, that's
pricey.
100.
Right,
That'd be
yeah.
100. This would be
This
100.
was the car wash. and
Yeah, but
the
the
road,
parking
and
spots are
then-
20.
Alright, so this will be like the exit for the car wash?
Yeah.
Come in the back or whatever? Okay.
Maybe. Hey, Joe, how deep's a normal parking spot? Like
18 feet.
18, okay.
It
And then how
depends.
wide, like 9? Not yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
Chicago's other suburbs are 9.
Yeah.
Aldi is 9.5.
Okay.
Because, yeah.
Yeah.
Aldi?
Yeah, Aldi. For some reason, they have parking criteria.
So they've got about 340 square feet in one of those double islands, and the PUD that got approved in 2008 said it should be 400. So it's a reduction from 400 to 340.
Well,
They're asking for 400
it
to
is
275. So that means those on the ends could be
I
narrower.
think the ends were a little smaller.
What's that?
I thought it was like 200,
They're not full parking space width then at the end.
down to 275 on the end ones. Not the center ones, but the end ones. So
In
along the
terms
store
of,
frontage.
oh, can I ask a
Oh,
question?
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yes.
And I think another point to consider, pretty much all the buildings that Joe has built there have all been very classy and very well-built buildings. So the variance that we're asking for him to try to cut corners, he's gonna compensate. For anything he takes away, you're gonna get more on other items that, the quality he's gonna build these buildings is.
You see the buildings I have out there now, right?
I drive down that road all the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah,
so
I mean,
yes.
I don't wanna say they're
those are
better than
nice.
anything else in the village, but I mean,
Mhm.
we've seen other buildings.
Oh,
like
you
those.
see that?
I mean, we've seen other buildings in the village, commercial buildings, and he doesn't, his is
Thank you.
5 levels
Mhm.
above that. So
Good.
even though we're asking for these variances, you're
Yeah.
still gonna have very well built and very nice looking buildings.
All concrete around the buildings. The retail building, just, you know, all concrete.
The parking lot's all
People don't
concrete.
do that anymore. I don't want maintenance, I know how to build roads, I know how to build roads. I mean, Joe's a professional engineer over there, I'm just saying.
Should we?
It's still like a table.
Close the public hearing.
I think I want to make sure we get a couple of things, that everyone has their questions answered on all these different items. I think we've got a pretty good statement on the first one, which is they don't think it's useful. For the second one, we really haven't talked about that one at all yet. So this is in the back of their property. They don't want to have any islands in the 22 parking spots in the back of the island, the back of the property. You know, that's, what is your reason for not wanting the island?
That's the question, I got that great answer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Number one, they're truckers, okay? Thanks to Joe and Chris, our other buildings, we had really wide driveways, and they still go over the grass,
Okay.
okay? That's number one. So if we put those islands in, I'm gonna be constantly repairing them.
We'll be going up over a curb.
They don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the big wide driveways, thank you, Joe and Chris, that I got in my other buildings, they still miss them, I gotta maintain them.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, I don't like that ordinance, it shouldn't be there. If you go out and snowplow in the winter and you wanna hit an island, I mean, come on. And we need more parking.
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
You guys are charging me $6 a month for a semi-spot. Now you get an extra $6 if we eliminate them. A month.
So the reasoning, it sounds like, is and I would say it's because there's going to be traffic really going through there.
Truck traffic.
It's three-sided for sure. Maintenance, traffic flow, and how we have the loading berth, just to avoid any sort of issues with people being able to get through there. And parking, additional parking. It's
Yeah.
not visible back
Yeah.
there, like from the road.
I don't know, the way that Joe just described it, I don't think I'd want to park my car back there if people are hitting the islands.
No.
No, it's-
The islands will protect you.
You know,
Yes, that's what it's
The
for.
maintenance side of that too is significant there for us with, you know, one-way traffic going through.
Yeah.
Like a Wolf Driving School out there, you gotta see these guys.
Yeah. Then for the third one, this is landscaping around the building. Is that you don't have room for it, or it's the design of your building that doesn't?
It's specifically addressing, when we're talking about landscaping in front of the building.
Mhm.
The design of the building puts a larger patio basically in front of each one of the units with a large awning, allowing for outdoor seating, especially for any restaurant tenants that we have. But even all the tenants, they can have an outdoor area in front of the facility. And between the parking lot and that just, part of the reason is the awning will cover any vegetation that we put there. But the alternative, and we brought this up before, was potentially doing, you know, nice planter boxes, commercial planter boxes in several areas, allowing you to easily walk around, but not having, being able to place them in a strategic position.
Yeah, okay.
So we're not, what we're doing is moving out further. Okay, we're gonna have the whole front is covered. You go to a lot of retail
Minor box.
places and it's raining out or it's snowing out, and you don't wanna walk down to buy something down there because of that.
Yeah.
So you just jump in your car and immediately. Well, I got a 12-foot awning all the way across the front. Then even if you're a cleaner, it'd be nice to have a table and chairs outside. So then outside of that, I'm gonna put these planter boxes that I can strategically place depending on the tenants, so you can still walk through them to go in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still gonna do the planter boxes. And I wanna do evergreens, so they're green all year. And then the parking will be on the other side of that. So as you're sitting outside on the patio on a nice summer day, you're not looking at the hood of a car. You're looking at these nice
Yeah.
evergreens, and the cars will be on the other side. I think it's a novel idea. I haven't seen it.
Yeah. So with this one, guys, is there I mean, we have some businesses that don't have, obviously, plants in front of them, like all of our businesses downtown.
Actually, this variance is for the east and west sides. In case there's not a drive-through, you're gonna have a drive aisle next to the building without a 5-foot. The planner, they've accommodated the landscape plan and pushed the planner stuff.
Yeah, so the front and back is covered.
It's covered.
This is
Just
just
the
either side.
Sides, right.
And from hearing what the applicant is saying, if there's drive-throughs on both sides, if you had a 5-foot landscape buffer, then there'd have to be a bump out for the, in the building to accommodate the drive-through. So essentially, it's the drive-throughs are what's causing the inability to meet
Yeah.
this requirement, and possibly the width of the lot, but.
Yeah, it's, yeah.
And sometimes,
Drive-throughs
uh-huh.
are going to be very popular, bring in business, which in turn brings retail tax to the village.
Yep.
And sometimes
Joe,
they
just so
do
you
those-
know,
okay.
this
Go ahead.
board, the village board, you can tell that too, we just look at the land use. We're not supposed to consider any monetary gain to the village or to the applicant.
That's all Erica cares
What's that?
about. That's all Erica cares about.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
And what I was going to bring up is one of the reasons why they introduced those type of ordinances is really to protect your building and to also soften up the building itself. That's one of the reasons. But you know, like if it were tighter, then I would take caution with putting maybe like guardrails or something so it doesn't. So it's, like you said, they drive kind of careless. You don't want them. And I know you mentioned concrete, so but that's why, yeah. That's one of the reasons that they usually have those sides, but it's to soften it. Mm-hmm.
Well, bollards.
Bollards are good too. They still hit them. Yeah.
And so, and then the final point we had is, does anyone have any questions on, and we haven't talked about it at all, the change in the island sizes from 275 to 400? And these would be your end aisles, these end caps on the sides, on the east and west side and the front, right? Those are the ones you want to be smaller. Not the ones attached to the building, but the ones out in the lot.
Correct.
These here?
These two.
No, they're going from what to what?
400 to 275? And are you trying to hit 275? Is that what you're going to build?
I believe that's the design size, yes.
So that's what, square
That's what the
Square
foot?
Yeah, it's a 30% decrease.
So it's really 2 parking stalls stacked.
Yeah, that's like
That's
400 is
Something
that's
like
almost
that.
400. So this is now much smaller than that, 30% smaller.
How wide are these islands? Because there's a minimum for trees to be within that island. I don't see. It looks like the width of a parking stall.
I think in our code it's around 7 foot.
7.
back and curb to back and curb.
Because trees need a certain distance, like dimension.
So we're saying like
7 by 36.
7 by 36. Yeah, you got it.
Minus your radiuses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a little small.
Oh, 36 inch wide?
No,
No,
36
36 feet
feet
long.
long.
Feet, okay,
because of
thank
the
you.
2 spots.
Okay.
Tip.
And then maybe the width of the paint stroke.
Well, we have the concrete
252.
curb. So that's a foot
Okay,
less with the
okay,
concrete
okay.
curb. Mhm.
And that's just to have more parking spots? It's the
Yes, sir.
the reason?
Bringing more business,
Yeah, yeah.
get them up in front.
So I'm going to then add, before we close the session, as what Frank said, our job here is to look at your application and see if there's something unique about the property that is requiring you to have these variances. It's not really, we don't get to consider the value of the business, the better, let's say, building that can be built there. But that being said, we make our judgment against this, but the board, ours is more of a recommendation to them against, did it meet?
I understand, sir.
So in the end, like this one, we could say, all of your arguments make a ton of sense, for example, and we should change our code, right? That could be the outcome of a meeting like this. Even if we say no to your variances, the board can approve them. And then we'll probably say, maybe this is something we need to change, for the specific case. If people are doing retail, maybe we should only have one loading berth. That should be what the code should be. So other people don't have to go through the process, right? Yeah. So you're going to hear us now talk, and I wanted to make sure you understood. The other two?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably do that, just to be sure, since they did both speak.
Okay.
You want us up there or where?
You can just
raise
stand
your
right
hand.
there.
Yeah.
The testimony you've given is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I would now entertain a motion to close the public session.
Motion.
I have a motion.
I'll second.
I second it.
With a motion and a second, do we have any more discussion before we go and close the meeting?
No,
No?
I think-
Okay, then Chris, take the roll.
Commissioner Braher,
Yes.
Commissioner Feck,
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick,
Yes.
Commissioner Scarpelli,
Yes.
Chairman Brunner.
Yes. Okay, so now we are going to move forward to actually discuss approving these proposals. So I would like to go through them one by one.
Yes.
Could I have a motion on regarding the first item, a variance request from section 157.127, required loading berths requiring 2 loading berths?
I'll make a motion that we grant a variance from section 157.127 requiring loading berths requiring 2 loading berths and granting the variance to 1.
Second.
With a motion and a second, we can now, let's say, discuss this motion. Is there any comments that anyone would like to add? If no one wants to volunteer, I would like Frank to provide some background on the reason for his motion.
So I spent 30 years in commercial property management, and for those of you that don't know, I used to manage the Meadowdale Shopping Center, and there was really only the building was initially 465,000 square feet, and it got reduced in 1989 to about 200,000 square feet. But other than the post office and the Aldi food store having a loading berth, that was really all there was in that size of a building. In today's retail, probably as much comes in through the front door from deliveries of UPS and Amazon and things of that nature as would potentially go to a back door. So in today's retail, they're going to figure it out. Having 1 loading berth in the back to service a 12,000 square foot building is not unheard of, and it's really going to be their problem to deal with. That if they have somebody who's getting delivery after delivery after delivery, the other tenants in the building may get upset. But again, I think they're all going to figure it out, and it's more their limitation that they have to deal with their tenants. And I don't see it as being a limitation that's going to prevent any perspective. I mean, from the village's standpoint, we may say, well, the building's not feasible, and therefore it's never going to get filled, and it's going to sit empty. Which isn't good for us, not good for them, but if that comes to be, they'll figure it out.
So does anyone else have any comments?
No.
So,
I agree.
I agree that the building, shouldn't have to have the 2 berths. But that, on the other hand, I can't see why, given the requirements for granting variances, we can grant a variance. It's the reasoning is they lose floor space and it's just not as effective. Right now, we have tests that we have to do, like, and you'll see it when we go through the findings of fact. where would someone in a different property in the same position ask for the same variance? And I think very clearly they would. And that means we shouldn't grant the variance. You know, is it done just for making more money? I think it makes the building more efficient, so it makes it more money. Another reason why we can't grant a variance. So I agree that it's I think the right thing, but I also can't say that it meets the test that we have to have for granting a variance. So, any more discussion? Okay, then, Chris.
All right, Commissioner Braher?
Yes.
The motion, the motion was to approve the
To approve
variance.
the variance.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
motion to approve.
Yes. Commissioner Feck?
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick?
Yes.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Yes.
Chairman Brunner?
No.
The motion carries.
Okay, on to the next one. A variance request from section 15804. Could I have a motion to approve or deny a variance request from section 15804 D2 D2B, landscape requirements requiring landscape islands for every 10 parking spaces?
I'll make the motion to grant a variance from section 158.084, section D, section 2, subsection D2B, landscape requirements requiring landscape islands for every 10 parking spaces.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. So discussion on this topic.
So are we looking at just one island that, it looks like it would be just one island, right? Every 10?
Yeah, they have 22 spots back there. So yeah, they would have one would be taken up, they'd maybe put it in the middle and consume 2 spots. So they'd lose 2 spots with one island. So I would add on this one, you know, putting the same test that we had before. This one is a bit different. I think the drive-through is a unique feature of this property that, you know, you could say that requires there to be a reason to make a change there. Now it is a change in their own making because this is their design. It's not like the property is requiring them to put that drive right there of that size. But there's a little bit more, I think a little bit more, but still I think it's a bit of a stretch. I think in this case, it being in the back like that, you know, we probably don't expect a lot of people parking back there. Given the way that this is going to work. I mean, you could only come in one direction. I mean, what would be the reason to park back there? You know, yeah.
I'm hoping they don't need more than the employee parking.
Yeah, yeah.
So that the customer safe.
Because it's pretty gnarly to get from there to the building with no sidewalk on the sides.
There's back doors.
I think your employees will park back here.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
The reason there is a landscape ordinance is obviously to bring in, you know, I know there's a lot of greenery nearby, acres and acres of beautiful, lush greenery, but at the same time, one of the reasons to bring in islands is for also coverage of not all the cars, but some cars, and to, you know, also give that, I don't know if it's a beautification or not, but to soften that landscaping. So I don't know, I'm a little indifferent about this one.
Yeah, Frank, do you have some thoughts on why you made the motion? then nobody else did.
Well, yeah, A, to keep the meeting moving, but also B, as I see it, it's just one island, and it is in the back behind the building, and
It's true.
to me, it's not that big of an
As
issue
if it
to
were-
deny that. Plus it, I mean, there is also a fair amount of other landscape around, and then I do have to agree with Joe. When I managed that shopping center, I plowed it for 30 years, and this would not be a bad property to plow, but some of the parking lot engineers and where they put islands in that, it makes plowing a nightmare. And usually those, the trees and whatever are in those, because that's where all the snow gets pushed and piled up, it all dies anyway, so. But, yeah, I agree with Joe that it just makes the property a little bit more difficult to maneuver in the year-to-year maintenance of it.
That's true.
And
it is in the back.
There's plenty of other landscaping already in this plan.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, that's fine.
any other comments? Okay, so Chris, could you call?
Commissioner Braher,
Yes. Variance.
Commissioner Feck,
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick,
Yes.
Commissioner Scarpelli,
Yes.
Chairman Brunner.
No.
Motion carries.
Okay, on to the third one. A variance, can I have a motion to approve or deny a variance request from section 15804D2C, landscape requirements requiring a 5-foot landscaping area along the foundation,
I'll make a motion that we approve the variance request for the landscaping requirements, 5-foot landscaping around the foundation.
On the east and west.
Yeah, on the east and west side, in regards to the drive-through.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Motion and a second. So any discussion on this topic? So I'll say then, I believe the way the building's designed and with drive-throughs, that, yeah, it doesn't make any sense to have landscaping, 5-foot landscaping on the sides of the buildings. So, I mean, I agree with this building being there, we wouldn't want, the village wouldn't want landscaping on the side of it. Does anybody else have any opinions they'd like to share?
I agree with you.
Frank, anything you want to say before we?
Nope.
Okay. So I think we're done, so call roll,
Commissioner
please.
Braher,
Yes.
Commissioner Feck,
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick,
Yes.
Commissioner Scarpelli,
No.
Commissioner Brunner.
No.
Motion carries.
Motion carries. Okay, and then on to the fourth and final one. May I have a motion to approve or deny a minor amendment to section 4.7 of the planned unit development granted by the village board in ordinance number 0874 regarding the requirements of interior landscape parking lots, which currently requires 400 square feet islands.
I will make a motion to deny.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
That was a motion to approve?
To deny.
Oh, deny, okay.
By Brahar and seconded by Kruger. Okay, discussion.
Well, I mean, in terms of, like, if we start
Second,
making these islands a little more narrow, then everybody else will want the same thing. And I think we have to, really maintain that as a city ordinance.
Okay.
That's my main reason.
Yeah. So yeah, on this one, right, as it now being a variance, we have a lot more latitude on how we can rule on this.
Okay,
So it's guidance that we will provide to
the guidance.
you know, to the board, and if we think it's a good idea. And you feel that 400 square feet is the minimum that we should have for end cap islands?
If that was based on the property lot square footage, yes.
Yes.
And I don't see a calculation, but I'm guessing that's correct.
Right. So, is there a reason why we didn't do a variance on this and instead are changing is it because of the other properties where they're also going to want to do this?
It's because this development was under a PUD, and under that PUD, there was an agreement between the village and the developer on this specific item,
Okay.
which varies from the code.
And what is do you know what our code island size?
Code island size is 7 foot wide
Okay.
with 10-foot spacing. So they're allowed to have, is it 20? I forget. They're allowed to have more spaces in between, but make the islands bigger on either end.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why this is.
Yes. So I guess, you know, then maybe, you know, the fact that this is limited to just their development agreement, which is pretty much all of Joe's property, right?
So it's based on that PUD?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's different.
And it's
different.
So it's not for other people. Okay.
Right.
That
Yeah.
makes me feel a little better. Okay.
Yeah. So, are there other comments that we would like on this one? And remember, it's a motion to deny.
So Joe, you're saying, so essentially, with that being said, the island that they have in the middle, they could remove that one.
They could remove that.
And just add to the
Outside's
ones on the
bigger.
end.
Right.
So the
So-
ones on the
but-
end, the ones on the end could become 400 square feet and just remove the one in the middle.
Right, and then make accommodations in the back to be wider. On the front, they meet the current code,
Okay.
so I never look at that as a variance.
Okay.
They meet code, end of story. It's in the back where they're allowed to have more parking spaces. When they do that, they need wider islands, and the islands in the back are,
I didn't see any other, aren't any, in fact.
well, right, they're just two end.
To the two ends,
Yeah.
yes.
So I just did an extension of the.
Oh,
the
so
pavement.
from the, what would be the west edge of their lot to the west edge of the lot line, you're saying that needs to be bigger?
Uh,
Pretty much they go from here.
I think they're over their maximum, so they would need that center island. So that's the center island that would need to be 400.
Looks like it'd be a good choice to make.
But I don't know, I think that 400 square feet
But it's
is worked
important
out.
because it's,
This is a
you
single.
know, this is 72.
It's a single day, so
Okay,
essentially you could cut that
so that would have to be 200 then?
in. Yeah. So they needed the variance for the island in the back, but then also needed the variance to the PUD, which required an island and size of island. So their island is essentially 0.
Wait, you lost
But
me
you-
that part. The
So-
island, right, that last sentence.
So if an island was required, which you already recommended that it wasn't, it would need to be 400 square feet or 200 square feet since it's only a single.
Oh,
day.
the one in the back.
So,
Got it.
so really, number 4 on our agenda today is predicated by number 2. So since we gave the variance of not having to
But
have
you
it,
didn't give it, so you still should act on it. I mean, you just made a recommendation, so you should
Yeah.
still have a
okay.
recommendation on it.
Oh, okay,
Right.
okay.
So we just need to be clear in our statement. You know, I sometimes feel like there should be a summary at the end of the meeting.
I agree.
Say
I agree.
how this
Yeah.
resolves
Yes,
right
yes.
now.
Definitely.
I'm trying to make sure we say it as we go
Correctly,
through,
and
but
we understand it. Mhm.
yeah. Okay. So, any other discussion before we vote then on the motion to deny the change? Okay, then Chris, could you do the roll?
Commissioner Braher,
Yes.
it's a yes.
To deny. To deny, yes.
Yes to deny. Commissioner Feck,
No.
Commissioner Kruger,
So if I say no,
then it gets approved.
Well,
You're right.
No, it doesn't get approved.
It's just a motion you're working on.
It's a
Okay.
motion, yeah.
Yeah.
So by saying yes, you're agreeing to deny it. If you say no, then you're not agreeing to deny it, but it's not
that's a lot
necessarily.
confusing.
That's the problem with making a motion in a negative.
Yeah.
So I think they should be able to do, they don't have to have the 400, so how do I?
So
Then
you
no.
would say no.
Okay. Commissioner Stanek,
Yes to deny.
Commissioner Scarpelli,
Yes.
Chairman Brunner.
No.
So that's
Yeah, 3 and
Who
3.
knows when?
3 and 3.
three and three.
Oh. Okay, so that fails to pass. It
Well, is it-
doesn't have enough to win, so
Is it, right,
it effectively becomes a null vote.
okay.
Okay, so now do we want to, I mean, that will go on to the village board. We could make another motion to approve it.
It would be the
I
same
think it's probably
result,
going to be the
It's
same.
same
vote.
result, yeah.
worded slightly
I think it
different.
goes with, yeah.
Yeah, so what is then the result? It's like we're not going
There's no
to.
decision, yeah.
There's no just, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. I mean, we're not going to make another motion.
Right.
Okay.
So it doesn't pass, but,
We also didn't fail.
it
Yeah,
didn't fail. So, yeah. We would have had our one other trustee or
Then it
commissioner.
would have broken it.
Or one less.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, or one less, yeah, okay. So then now we are going to have to move on to approving or denying the findings of fact. You can find those in your packet, a few pages in. We'll go through, there's going to be 3 of them for the 3 variances.
You need us here.
No, you guys can go.
You can leave.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time. And I'll do the village, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, thank you for all the development work. I mean, it's amazing to
Yes.
see all that new
Beautiful.
stuff come up. We really appreciate it. So
You see how we're going next year.
awesome.
Okay,
And thank you for developing that street too.
yeah.
I drive through there every single day, so it's important, I'm looking forward to this
My
car wash.
office is right there.
Oh, it is? Oh,
Yeah, the first office on the right hand where the world is on top.
Did you develop the other buildings next to it?
Pardon?
The other buildings next to it, did you develop that too?
That's below yet.
Oh, okay.
That's
You know the
cool.
big building?
Yeah.
It was 20 years ago.
Remember, this is on tape.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye,
Great
take
night.
care, have a
Thank
good
you.
evening.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so the first one, could I have a motion to,
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the findings of facts for 1011 East Main Street, Pal Land LLC, PIN 0325176.0/004, per the variance request from section 157.127 requiring loading berths, requiring 2 loading berths. And then I would say on number 1, the property in question cannot yield a reasonable return if permitted to only use under the conditions allowed. I would say that that's a no. And I think at this point we talk about them. Does everyone agree that if they had to put 2 in the 2, they would still get a reasonable return?
so you're making the motion right now and discussing all of the items as we go.
That's typily what we've done, but
Okay,
if
yeah.
you want to do it a different way,
I'm good with it. Yeah, I'm totally good with
Okay,
it. I
so
forgot exactly.
they have to
how
put
we-
2 in, is that what you're saying?
well, we granted them the variance
Right.
tonight to only do one.
Yes, that's what I thought, because I put
yeah.
no. One only on one variance.
Right.
One loading.
Yeah.
Right.
One loading, that's what I put down, okay.
Right, but as far as that particular finding, the answer to that would be no.
Right, okay.
Yeah, because this is a negative question. It's saying that,
Okay.
you know, it could, to me, when I read this, it's, if it had to, it could still have a reasonable return.
So actually, you know what, in thinking about it, and maybe this is something we need to get from our attorney, but I'm going to withdraw my motion, and I believe maybe what should happen, Chairman Brunner, is that you should go through all of these conditions. We say yes or no, and then when we get to the end with all of our yeses or nos or maybes or whatever, then one of us can make a motion to approve that.
Yes,
That would probably
yes.
be the better.
Yes. Okay, so then we'll just go through on a discussion. So on the first item here that we've been discussing about, the property in question cannot yield a reasonable return if permitted to be used only under the conditions allowed by the regulations in that zoning district. And I think no, which that no in that case means you could, even with two, you know, make money here.
Yeah.
Or you can make a smaller property, a smaller building that only required one, and
Right.
make money here.
Right.
So no is fine.
Yep.
Then the plight of the owner is due to unique circumstances. They said not applicable, which is kind of an interesting, what does not applicable mean in this
It's their own
context?
design. I mean, they could
Yeah.
design it differently, you know, so it's
Yeah,
nothing
I believe-
unique that
I
they're
believe this
constrained
would be
by.
a no
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd say no.
right. So do you guys know why you put the NA on it?
I don't know.
Okay, so we want then number 2 as as no. Number 3, the variation is, if granted, will not alter the essential character of the locality. I think, yes.
Yeah.
We're all
Yes.
good on that. The particular surroundings, particular physical surroundings, shape, or topographical conditions of the specific property involved would bring a particular hardship upon the owner as distinguished from a more inconvenience if the regulations were strictly enforced.
It needs to be changed to no.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's a no. It's all based on the design,
Yeah.
right,
you know, and how much money they plan to make.
right, yeah.
Essentially, it comes down to, you know, maximize their profit.
Exactly. So then the conditions upon which the petition for variation is based would not be applicable generally to other property within the same zoning classification. I think this is a yes.
Yeah.
Other people would also want to have only one loading berth.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much
Yep.
what they said, right?
That's pretty much.
He said all their other businesses don't need them.
Right.
So, okay, then 6, the purpose of the variation is not based exclusively upon a desire to make more money on the property.
I mean, that's the whole idea in a retail business or any type of business is to maximize your property.
So do we want to change it from NA?
Yeah, I think it's got to be a yes or no. I don't think it's
Yeah.
an A.
I think it
So then it would
is-
be, if it is based on making more money, it's no.
No, right.
But with this one, this is the loading berths. I mean, they could be, would you say there's anything where they're concerned about like safety or, you know, things along those lines?
When
I
you
think
say
it's-
safety, what are you talking about? Like
Like if they
backing
put in
up
another
or?
berth, it would
Oh, another one?
disrupt the,
Well, then you'd
Well,
have to
but-
change the
but-
design.
yeah.
But the
I mean, they chose to make a tight design so
No,
they
no,
could
no.
maximize how many units they had. in
So
it.
it's
That's
to
why
make
so
more
narrow.
money.
Really
Yeah.
tight.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, or spend less money
Or
putting in
spend less,
the
it's just,
improvement.
yeah.
Yeah, yes. So then that's a no, right?
Yep.
Okay, and then 7, the alleged difficulty or hardship has not been created by any person presently having any interest in the property. I
Well,
think
That's a no as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So the other thing, I know we didn't bring it up in the
Their
meeting,
design. yeah.
but yeah, it's their
Their
property, and they subdivided it to make it that size.
Correct.
Like they
Yeah,
had a
that's
bigger
their own
lot,
doing.
and they
Yeah.
made that pin there, and then made a building that's too big, or the size that it is. You know. Okay. So Then, now, with these updates, and did you take the notes on all of them, Chris? Or do I need to give them all to you?
As you're going through them, writing them down?
Yes.
The yes and no's?
Yes.
Yes, I have it corrected. So on number 7 is what?
No.
No.
Okay.
So, could I have a motion?
Well, no, we got
We got
8 and 9.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't make it to the next page. Okay, so number 8, granting of the variation will not be detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to other property or improvements in the neighborhood in which the property is located.
I just want to make a comment. If the others are posed this same way, I want to change the question to a positive rather than all the negatives. But to me, 8 has to be no as well.
Can you reread that one again?
The granting of the variation will not be detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to other property or improvements in the neighborhood in which the property is located. So you think it will be detrimental if you're saying no?
Well, I guess it's not going to be detrimental. It's just the fact that we're granting it could be detrimental to future developments. Based on our ordinances.
But that was a PUD.
Yeah,
right?
but I thought he
No,
was
no, this
special.
isn't the PUD. This is the loading
is,
berth.
okay, the loading, just
Oh.
And this is our-
strictly for that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So if someone moved in and didn't want it to be retail and wanted to, and they'd be like, why does this not have 2? It should have 2.
But that could go either way. It could stay yes. I mean, I could make an argument both ways, so.
I think yes.
Do we want to vote on this one? I mean, I guess. Yeah, I'm a bit indifferent on this one.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's not clearly defined, you know? That's why it's,
I mean, well, it's very
Teeter-totter.
general like this.
Uh-huh.
Other property or
Yeah.
improvements, you know, in the neighborhood, and you're considering potential future use. But, you know, that is part of the deal, right? You know, the building's going to likely be part of our town for many decades.
so we pass, yeah. Mhm.
Could be here longer than this.
That's for sure, that's for sure.
So, does anyone have a strong opinion, one way or another?
Yeah, I think it's fine the way it is. I mean, it's,
Okay, so for everyone watching,
I'm okay with the yes.
you know, the consideration would be it being detrimental to future owners of the building.
Yes.
So staying
staying
yes.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. The proposed variation will not impair an adequate supply of light and air to adjacent property or substantially increase the danger of fire or otherwise endanger the public safety or substantially diminish or impair property values within the neighborhood. Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Now I will make a motion that we approve the revised finding of facts that we just revised here today.
I'll second that.
with a motion and a second, any further discussion?
No.
No? Chris, could you call the roll?
Commissioner Braher?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Commissioner Feck?
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Commissioner Stanek?
Yes.
Commissioner Scarpelli?
Yes.
Chairman Brunner?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Sweet. Okay, on to the next one, which will be the one, and I think someone chuckled when I said it the first time, but it does sound like R2D2 almost. Request from section 15804D2D2B, landscape requirements requiring landscape islands for every 10 parking spaces. So the first question, the property in question cannot yield a reasonable return if permitted to be used only under the conditions allowed by the regulations in that zoning district. I think this would be a yes, right, like we had on the other one. No, it stays as a no, I'm sorry, it stays as a no.
It stays a no?
Yes, that one
Yeah.
stays a no, yes.
My phone died.
What's it?
My phone died.
Yeah,
I
that
had
one
my
stays in
PDF
there.
on.
Oh, yeah. you can
Sorry.
put this. No
And then the next one, the plight of the owner is due to unique circumstances. We want to change that NA to a no.
To know,
Correct.
yeah.
Okay, for 3, if the variation is granted, it will not alter the essential character of the locality.
Should.
I would say, if granted, will not.
I don't think
Correct.
it'll alter it.
Yeah.
It owns everything around it. so
I
it's
think
in the
we
back
need to
of the
remove
property.
the not
Yeah.
from this question. It should read, the variation, if granted, will alter the essential character of the locality.
Yeah, I agree with changing the wording. So we're keeping it as a yes.
And taking out
And
not.
taking out the not.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Makes sense.
So I think my general approach would be to try to get rid of all of the nots and have it worded in a way that if it's all good, they're all yeses or all
Right.
no's.
So you don't have to vote no to
Yeah.
mean yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Right?
Okay.
You know, if it's worded that the good path is all yes, then that would be good. But then that would include the nots. Oh, anyway. Okay, on to 4. The particular physical surroundings, shape, or topographical conditions of the specific property involved would bring a particular hardship upon the owner as distinguished from a mere inconvenience if the regulations were strictly enforced.
I'd say no.
And then we'll go in no on that one. So no on 4. Then 5, the conditions upon which the petition for the variation is based would not be applicable generally to other property within the same zoning classification.
Remove the not.
But yeah,
So I would say the conditions upon which the petition for variation is based would be applicable generally to other properties within the same zoning classification. And then I think it has to be a yes.
okay.
Is that too many?
Sure.
That's too many changes. You changed 2 things. And well, so you changed one thing, but this one we had changed the answer to as well, right?
Right.
So we could leave it as a no and get rid of the not, I think. So on this other one where we made the change where we said remove
Yeah.
the not, are you going to remove the not and leave it as a yes?
You asking me?
Yeah, is that what you have up there?
Yes, no, I,
I don't know. I'm not sure that you can remove the knot, but
Okay.
we can try.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
Yeah, let's not, yeah.
I-
let's-
Okay,
I'm
okay.
thinking the language is this way for a reason.
Okay.
Because Franco and I discussed this also, it's very
Okay.
confusing, but it's
Okay.
the language, it may be in the code, I'm not
Okay.
sure. That
Okay.
So we may have to go back to 3 and.
3 should be yes,
Yes.
right? The variation,
But include the word not.
yeah.
correct. So then 5, we're not going to take out the not.
Okay.
So then you want to change 3 to a no,
No, 3 stays a yes.
even though you remove, even though the not's in there.
Correct.
Okay.
This is what I was, I
Okay,
thought
okay.
looking at how this started going, that one we got
Okay.
confused.
Okay.
Well, no, I think we need to change 3 to a no. If we're leaving the not in the question.
You think changing this would,
If we leave it a yes, then we're agreeing that
It's
the
gonna alter the
variation
character.
needs to be granted.
well, we're saying the variation, if granted, will not alter the essential character of the locality. That's just a test, right? Like if you say, no, it
Yeah.
will alter it, then you can't approve it.
Okay. the
I agree
variation
with, I would agree with you.
will not alter the essential character.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
follow
you're
you.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is more like some are like instant, yeah, it's weird. Some no's are instant invalidations, and some yeses are. So, on to 5?
Yeah.
Okay, the conditions upon which the petition for variation is based would not be applicable generally to other properties within the same zoning classification. So on the previous one, we said yes, because they would be applicable to other properties.
Right. So I think we have to say yes here.
Yes. I have a feeling that these will be the same answers as we had for the previous ones.
Yep.
Then the purpose of the variation is not based exclusively upon a desire to make more money outside the property. We said no on the previous one. I
Yep.
think that's the case.
Yep.
Then the alleged difficulty or hardship has not been created by any person presently having an interest in the property. That's a no.
No. Yeah.
8, granting of the variation will not be detrimental to the or to the public welfare or injurious to the other property or improvements in the neighborhood in which the property is located. I think we kept that one as a yes. And then finally, the proposed variation will not impair an adequate supply of light and air to adjacent property or substantially increase the danger of fire or otherwise endanger the public safety or substantially diminish or impair property values within the neighborhood. Also, I think a yes.
Yep.
Okay, so can I have a motion to approve as amended?
I'll make a motion that we approve as amended. Do I have to repeat all this? Request for section?
Just say the
landscaping
Yeah.
requirements for the islands.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, with a motion and a second. Chris, could we have the roll?
Commissioner Braher,
Yes.
Commissioner Feck,
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick,
Yes.
Commissioner Scarpelli,
Yes.
Chairman Brunner.
Yes. And then finally, we will be talking about the request from the variance, the findings of facts for the request from section 15804D2C, landscape requirements requiring a 5-foot landscaping area around the foundation. Do we, just so we don't have to read all these again, do you want to answer them all the same way that we did the other ones? Is there any that are different?
Nope.
I think they still apply.
So that'll be
No. It's
no,
all similar.
no, yes.
Hold on, let's start again. Was it no?
So the number 1 is no.
Yeah,
Number 2, you change NA to no.
to no.
Number 3 stays yes.
Okay.
Number 4 changes to no.
Mhm.
Number 5 changes to yes. Number 6, NA to no. 7, NA to no.
Thank you.
8, yes.
And 8, 9 are states. Correct. Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve the findings of fact as amended for section 158.04 D2C, landscape requirements requiring a 5-foot landscape area along the foundation.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. Chris, could you call the roll?
Commissioner Braher,
Yes.
Commissioner Feck,
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
Commissioner Stenick,
Yes.
Commissioner Scarpelli,
Yes.
Chairman Brunner.
Yes. Fantastic. So that concludes all of our new business.
I'd like to just add one item, just for the board's sake, when they get this, is I would have voted no on number 1 and number 2. However, I made a motion in the positive, and if you make a motion in the positive, you cannot vote no. You have to vote yes. So I guess what I could have done was just not made the motion, and if none of us made the motion, then the item dies for lack of a motion. But
I very much appreciate you making that statement and educating us on the rules of order. Because yes,
That's good to know.
it's good to know, and it really, you know, I know we're all still getting used to being on the board, but you know, more people making motions if you feel comfortable.
yeah, the other thing, if I can just comment, is while he went into his big explanation of what he wants to do, they really didn't focus on proving any hardship or getting to the criteria of what allows us to grant variances and that. And I don't know how many of the applicants ever really get it, although Joe and his people should, and Ray Plody should, as I mean, this is what they do for a living.
Yeah.
But it's, again, for us to say no to somebody like this is not unheard of, because they really didn't meet the burden of what granting or being granted a variance requires.
And you saw it clearly on our findings of fact
Yeah.
that we couldn't answer those questions in a way that would say they should grant.
Yeah, and I mean, he said Erica wants the money and everyone wants the money, and that's great, but we just
we're
can't,
not allowed
we gotta block that from
No.
our.
Well, I see it more from what it's bringing to the village, not the money portion, but,
Right.
you know, we all drive by there every day.
Yeah.
We want it to be fair for everybody.
Yeah. Go.
Do we have to close this, or?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So,
I motion to close.
well, so we have, I want to make sure, we moved on to other business. We have no other business, which means now we're on to adjournment. So may I have a motion to adjourn?
Adjourn, please. The motion is.
Okay. Wait, any discussion?
I think you can, I think you can do the voice call.
Okay,
Yeah.
and is there a second?
Me.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Sounds unanimous.
Opposed?
Anybody cut?
Motion carries.
Yeah.
Meeting over.
I was saying, get out. I was kidding. Get out.
Cameron and I'll stay here all night.
Yeah.
So many questions. I
Oh,
have.
yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I was,
No, all this stuff.
you didn't want to make a motion to deny?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just don't
Big
let
one,
me
yeah.
be small building, take out
Yeah.
because they get
That's
very
my fault,
flows.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah, they do.
I can say yes or no.
That's why when I brought up stacking.